Hi, I'm John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy, with another Global Real Estate School podcast. Welcome to the podcast. My name is John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy, and this is episode 170. That's right, episode 170. And today I want to talk to you about preparing to answer the questions when you are taking your real estate exam. Recently, I was able to take the real estate exam. I'm some states, and we are getting approved in additional states. Some states require me as an instructor to take the exam and pass by a certain pass rate. And by the way, yes, I did pass the examination I took recently. I won't mention what state it was for, but I did pass the examination. But it gave me an opportunity, and I appreciate that as an instructor. It's not that I want to know word for word what is on the exam. I just want to know the correct way to teach the topics for my students, and to get a better idea from a perspective or an angle that the exam writers like to ask questions. So I think personally it's very healthy for instructors to be able to take the exam from time to time. So I took the exam recently. I did pass, and hopefully we will be approved in this new state shortly. But there was one thing that I noticed when I took the real estate examination, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. And it was the fact that you generally will be able to toss out two answers pretty easily. But there are going to be two answers that are going to be very, very close or similar. And what I noticed when I took the exam this time was the fact that when you look at those two answers that seem very close, one of them just doesn't fit the problem correctly. I hope that makes sense. And yet that one that doesn't fit correctly is the one that wants to try to get your mind to ask questions like, but if, or what about, or but yes, if. And anytime you start bringing in those types of questions when you're reading that answer, that's probably not the right answer. So you really have to look at these questions. You have to eliminate the two obvious that are not going to be correct. And then when you look at those final two, and I always encourage my students to read those questions 2 or 3 times, when you get down to those final two questions, answers, and you're looking at both of those, pick the one that makes sense for that question. Don't try to draw too much into the question, because when you do that, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So what I want to leave you with today is this. You're going to be able to eliminate two fairly easily, but there will be two that are going to look so similar. And you cannot try to bring more into the question than what's there. Look at those two answers and say, of those two answers, which one is the best one? And then don't change your answers, okay? Because it's a proven fact that if you're studying very good, and most people do for the real estate exam, there's a few people that try to take the test and they think they can go in and just wing it, and they get chewed up and spit right out on the parking lot of the testing center because the test is just too challenging to try to do that. But if you've been studying hard, normally your brain is storing information down deep inside your brain. And even though you can't recall it immediately, that gut feeling or that overwhelming feeling that I think B's the answer, it's because that information is stored in your brain and it's rising to the top to tell you, hey, down deep inside your brain, you have that information and it's B. So don't change your answer unless you were to get down the test a few more questions and then figure out that, hey, I know what the answer is now, because sometimes that can happen. So read those questions 2 or 3 times. Choose the best answer of the two. Don't draw too much into the question, and don't change your answers, okay? Unless you get down the exam 3 or 4 questions down and you figure out, I think because of this answer, I may have made an incorrect choice back on question 19 or 20 or whatever. And then you can just go back and read those again and make your changes. So you're going to do fine. You need to read those questions very diligently. You do not want to draw too much into the question. And you want to check out myrealestateexamcoach.com. I had a new student, another one, pass the exam yesterday. She was having a really challenging time passing, and I said, have you tried My Real Estate Exam Coach? She purchased it. She started studying it. And you know what? She passed the real estate test yesterday and sent me the nicest email. So check it out. It's at myrealestateexamcoach.com. You can also go to globalrealestateschool.com and find out more there. Hey, as always, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for listening to the podcast for Global Real Estate School. I'm John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy. Go out and make it a great day.